What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday and good morning. Welcome to another episode of NFL Turf Talk. Today, we're here with the kickoff show for Week 6. I apologize for the late start. I was tuned in to that shitty ass London game, so had a couple plays in that game. I was just keeping a close eye on it, and I don't know if anybody's winning anything out of that. But if you guys can, if you're already watching, let me know in the comments how that game finishes. I couldn't watch any more of just that pile of dog shit offensive output that we were seeing in that game. The London games are just horrible, but good morning nonetheless. Welcome to another episode. And of course, if you're not already following me, you can find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, etc. at Scotty Drowned. And of course, NFL Turf Talks brought to you by DSM Media. So be sure to follow DSM Media at DSM_media on all the social media platforms. Appreciate you guys tapping in with us today. I know we went quiet after that Eagles loss to the Giants on Thursday, but it wasn't just that. It was honestly that Phillies L to the Dodgers on Thursday night. The way that finished, just heartbreaking. But we'll be back at it tomorrow with the Faithful Fanatic on Monday on our DSM Media channel. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be recapping all of those travesties that took place on Thursday night nonetheless. But welcome. Let's get into the Week 6 slate. Let me check in on a few of the people in the comments here. D-Rab checking in early. Football Sunday. No Eagles stress. I mean, I agree, obviously. I do. I understand your point. I was going to take it somewhere else, but it's like there is Eagles stress. We don't know what the fuck happened on Thursday. I still don't really. I know what happened. I mean, the offensive line has been terrible, so on and so forth. Jalen was not good on Thursday night. Offensive play calling has been horrible. You'll see in the power rankings, Eagles fell down a bit just because of that loss. I mean, that's to the New York Giants. It's a rookie quarterback, rookie running back, missing their number one option in Malik Neighbors, who's out for the season, and they just run up 34, 35 points on the Eagles on Thursday night. It was embarrassing, and the Eagles are going to pay in the power rankings ultimately for that type of L. But yeah, to your point, D-Rab, no stress in regards to winning or losing, to be fair. But it can just be a fan of ball. Root for your bets that you got in. I'll have on Red Zone today, which I don't get to enjoy whenever the Eagles play at 1 p.m. So I am excited for that. Terry checking in. The Niners looking good. You see who we have on the thumbnail, CMC. That's for my money. I mean, arguably the biggest game of the day. I mean, I think the Lions and Chiefs is up there as well, even though the Chiefs are 2-3 to start the season. It's an interesting matchup between two supposed juggernauts, right? But you talk about the Niners and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-4-1 teams. That's going to be a very interesting matchup today. So good luck to you out there. D-Rab said he took the Niners plus 3.5. It's interesting. Both of those teams are beat the hell up. A lot of missing weapons, especially on offense. It'll be interesting to talk about that and see how that ultimately plays out. Niners get healthy soon. Yeah, you maybe get Kittle back, maybe get Brock Purdy back next week. We'll see when Ricky Pearsall can come back. Maybe you get Juwan Jennings back today for this matchup. That would actually be a really big boost. Take a little bit of the stress off of Kendrick Bourne, who went off last weekend. But what up, D-Rab? Let's dive right in. I am going to start at the top because we did not get back to you guys with our top 10 power rankings. So we have a little bit of an update here. It's funny because I did these power rankings before this Broncos Jets game, and we'll see how that plays out, right? The Broncos did end up winning, I see. 13-11. What a showcase out there in London. I hope they enjoyed that. Nonetheless, the Broncos, I think it's fair that they can stay there. They got the W at the end of the day, even if it is ugly. But you can see quite a bit of movement here, right? We got a new number one. And I do want to be clear. Obviously, Dylan's not on the pod today to recap these. These are my power rankings. These have no connection to Dylan. These are mine for this week. Ultimately, the Detroit Lions come in at number 1. I think since week 1, they have been the most dominant team when you talk about opponents that they've played, the way they've handled the opponents. And yes, they lost to the Packers. It was a little embarrassing to start the season. The Packers were coming in hot with the Micah trade, and Detroit was coming into the season without their offensive coordinator. Detroit has really stepped it up in the past weeks and gotten on the right track. Offense doesn't seem like it's really missed a beat. 4-1 on the season. I like Detroit up there, up top. Buffalo Bills, yes, they lost to the Patriots. And yeah, you look at the Eagles at number 4, you can say maybe the Eagles getting penalized a little bit more. Obviously, the Eagles have lost 2 straight. That's why they drop all the way down to number 4. We got to see the Bills bounce back this week. They're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. But even with the loss to the Patriots, it's the Patriots. It's a rivalry. It's Drake May and his ascension. Stephon Diggs plays out of his mind in that game. I just don't look at that as like a horrible loss. I think if you look at it compared to the Eagles things, right? Losing to the Broncos, I would look at that similarly to the Bills losing to the Patriots ultimately, from my perspective. That's why the Bills don't drop too much just with that one loss. They've still played very dominant football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, they just keep finding ways to win. I know they dropped that game against Philadelphia at home, but you look at this team. This is a team that has been playing without Mike Evans. They're now without Bucky Irvin. They'll be without Chris Godwin today. A ton of defensive players that have been missing from that Bucs team. Baker Mayfield has been beat up, and they're just staying afloat. They're winning football games, and they're winning football games against tough teams. They took down the Seahawks last weekend. So I like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing. I'll skip over the Eagles. We already talked about them a little bit here. San Francisco 49ers, Terry, I really like what I'm seeing. I mean, they're beat to hell and back as well, but they're just finding ways to win. Last week, it was Mac Jones taking on the Rams, able to come away with a victory there. Really impressed, and now they got a showdown today. Both teams beat up. There's really no excuses either way, in my opinion. So we'll see how that matchup plays out. Coming in at number 6, Jacksonville. They come away with a huge W last weekend against the Chiefs. We'll see. They have another test today. That defense looks for real, though. Trevor Lawrence and that sloppy offense aside, that defense looks for real. We'll see what the Jags can do moving forward. The Green Bay Packers, they're still a good team. We got to see something going forward, and we need to see it soon before we see this team move down. But yeah, I would still take the Packers over the teams below them, right? Like the Colts. The Colts are 4-1. All due respect, Daniel Jones playing out of his mind. I've seen people say that he is MVP candidate. I mean, it's fair, quite honestly, the way he's playing. Jonathan Taylor looks resurged back there with Daniel Jones. Shane Steichen's got that team playing very well. They take on a Jonathan Gannon-led Cardinals team today, which is interesting. Those two guys show down today. Finally, to round out the power rankings, we'll move on from this and get into some of the matchups very quickly as we approach one. Denver Broncos, obviously coming off the W against the Jets. They were coming off the W in Philadelphia against the Eagles. They're now 4-2 on the season. So I think they're going in the right direction. The offense took a step back today, but maybe the winless Jets defense on the road in London, maybe they were just able to find a way to stifle this offense today and make this game sloppy. I still like the Broncos in that 9 to what, maybe 12, 13-ish range. There's teams out there like the Rams, the Chargers, the Commanders, 3-2 type of teams that are right there with the Broncos, with the Steelers, who are just benefiting off of coming off a bye week. Quite honestly, they're 3-1. We'll see what the Steelers have today. They take on the Browns, but those are the updated power rankings going into the remainder of week 6. We already had week 6 start, obviously, with the Eagles and the Giants, which, whoops, sorry about that view. Get myself fixed up there. Let's run through this slate very quickly. I'm doing the show alone today, so I'm not going to spend too much time on each game. We'll go through the slate. I'll give my picks, and then we'll go through best bets to round out the show and get you guys out of here and ready for that 1 p.m. slate. Starting at the top, man, we got the Browns at the Steelers. Cleveland 1-4 coming into this game. Pittsburgh Steelers 3-1. Steelers are 6.5-point favorites in this one. Over and under set at 38.5. Browns coming off of an impressive showcase, I would say, in London last week against the Vikings. You look on the other side, it's the Steelers coming off the bye week. They should be well rested. Aaron Rodgers should be well rested. I don't know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers going against this defensive front. I think the Steelers should win this game. The Browns did play the Vikings tough. Aaron Rodgers is not the most mobile quarterback with that pass rush in front of him. It's an interesting game. I will take the Steelers here. Do I like them to cover 7 points? No, I don't like the Steelers to cover 7 here, but it is a prove-it spot. Prove that you are significantly better than the Cleveland Browns and their situation that they have going on. Dylan Gabriel should get the start today after trading Joe Flacco earlier this week to the Bengals. Steelers should get the W here. It's a prove-it spot for me. I don't have them covering 7 points. It just seems like a lot against a sturdy Cleveland defense in a division rivalry type of setting that this appears to be. But moving on, Chargers at Dolphins. D-Rab, me and you talked a little bit earlier through text about this. I shouldn't say we talked about it. I saw your text earlier in the group chat, and I saw you were kind of looking at this spread and looking at it a little funny. And I'm in the same boat here, man. Chargers 3-2, started out the season 3-0, beat the Chiefs, right? It's kind of falling off the wagon here. You have losses to the Giants now in the books. You have a loss to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels returning to the lineup, but coming off of an injury, maybe a little rusty. He's able to go on the road and take down this LA Chargers team. And all of a sudden, their offensive line's a little beat up. Running backs are beat up. You have Omari and Hampton go down. You have oh my goodness, Najee Harris go down as well. I was forgetting who the original running back one was there. So they're in a rough spot health wise, and it does. You go on the road against this Miami Dolphins team. They're 1-4. Started out 17-0. They were up 17 points on that Carolina Panthers team last week. End up blowing that lead. They had an impressive win on a national showcase right against the Jets. Despite, Tyreek Hill and the injury. What are the Dolphins really? I don't know. I expect them to be selling here soon. Maybe Mike McDaniel's job on the line, but this line at 3.5 is just really odd to me. It feels like a game that the Chargers should be locked in to win. But once again, Giants lost in the books, lost at home to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels returning. Chargers need to win this game. I'm going to go with the LA Chargers on the road against the Miami Dolphins. I don't trust them enough to bet it. I don't trust them enough to cover that 3.5-point spread. Chargers find a way to win against a Dolphins team that is just simply going nowhere. Terry, if you check in, bounce back, buddy. Yeah, bounce back, Dylan. We'll be waiting for you here, man. I know that Phillies loss is eating you alive, but we move. Nonetheless, next matchup is one that I'm actually very intrigued in, and if you watch the show regularly, you probably know why. I picked the Patriots this year to be kind of that sleeper team in the AFC, to kind of steal some games and really make their mark this season with Drake May and that unit moving forward as a young quarterback that could potentially be elite in the future. I really like what I've seen from Drake May. They're coming off the big W against the Buffalo Bills on the national showcase. And it just begs the question, against a 1-4 New Orleans Saints team. Against a 1-4 New Orleans Saints team on the road. This is a 3-2 New England team now. This is the game where you can gain a little bit of ground in the AFC, gain a little bit of ground towards a wild card spot in the play. I know we're way out. It's week 6, and I'm talking about playoff spots, but it matters, man. These games matter, especially against an opponent 1-4 that the Patriots should be able to take care of. If you looked at their schedule at the beginning of the season, you think about the games that the Patriots should or can potentially win, this would definitely be one of them, even being on the road against New Orleans. It's just a weird spot. Once again, coming off a huge underdog victory against the Buffalo Bills that were undefeated, giving them their first loss, a division rival. Now you go on the road and play a 1-4 New Orleans team. You can't fall asleep here. Stephon Diggs, did he wake up last weekend? Did he show us what he can still be in the NFL? Or was that just a revenge game against the Buffalo Bills? He's now on a division rival. He plays out of his mind for that one game. That's stuff that I'm looking at today. I want to see Drake May continue his play, continue his good play, quite honestly, and be consistent here. I like the Patriots to win this game, and I do like them to cover that 3.5-point spread. Statement victory, right? Statement victory, quote unquote. Rams at Ravens. You got the 3-2 Rams visiting the 1-4 Baltimore Ravens. No Lamar Jackson, no Roquan Smith on the defensive side of things. Missing your quarterback from both sides of the ball. Rams are 6.5-point favorites on the road in this one. Rams coming off a very disappointing loss to the San Francisco 49ers. It's a division rival. You lost at home. The stadium was packed out with 49ers fans, and you're not going against Brock Purdy. You're going against Mac Jones. You're not going against Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. You're going against Tongues. You're going against Kendrick Bourne, right, who went off in that game. This is a big bounce back spot against the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens, who have not been able to stop a nosebleed. Go out here, win this game, win it in dominant fashion. I do like the Rams to win this game, and I do like them to cover that 6.5-point spread on the road. Cardinals at Colts, I mentioned it earlier. You got Shane Steichen versus Jonathan Gannon, two former coordinators for the Philadelphia Eagles. No Kyler Murray today, so I've seen people rejoicing on the internet for Marvin Harrison Jr. Jacoby Brissett gets to start. Is that better for Marvin Harrison Jr. than Kyler Murray? We're going to find out today. Colts obviously 4-1. They're 8.5-point favorites in this one. Defense has been up to the task so far this season. I do like the Colts to win this one. They're at home. 8.5 points is a lot, though, right? 8.5 points. Colts covering that. They're a good team. Like I'm not saying that. It's just 9 points is a lot. They're at home against a backup quarterback. They should roll. You like Cardinals spread, right? What pulls me back from the Colts covering the spread is the Cardinals defense. I think their defense is good enough to not let the Colts go out here and score 30-plus points today. I think the Colts, but it's like, how much will the Cardinals score? That's the question. I'm not laying the spread either way from a betting perspective, just to be clear. Cardinals were my sleeper team coming into the season. I just don't like what they've shown so far here. No Kyler Murray. Maybe it is better for the passing offense. I think I like the Colts to win by double digits, maybe. I'd stay away from it betting wise. So I like that you altered it, at least, D-Rab. 10.5 is a lot better than 8.5 from my perspective. Seahawks Jags, man. This is actually a pretty big game, I would say. Could you argue? I'm just looking through the slate. Yeah, it's arguably the biggest game of the 1 p.m. Scheduled games today. You look at the Seattle Seahawks 3-2 coming into this matchup. The Jags, as I mentioned earlier, coming off a huge W against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 4-1. The Jags in this matchup against the Seahawks at home, by the way, could be their first 5-1 start since 1999. So it's a big, big spot for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a big spot for Trevor Lawrence. I kind of like the Jags as well. And this is interesting because you look at this game and the spread. I don't know if it's moved recently. About an hour ago, it was sitting at Seattle minus 1.5. So it puts Jags money line at plus money. I like the Jags to win at home. I like what their defense has done this season. They're very opportunistic. They get turnovers. I like them to kind of frustrate Sam Darnold today. And if Trevor Lawrence, knock on wood, can just take care of the ball, I like the Jags to ultimately win this game at home. So no, I don't like the Seattle Seahawks to cover that spread. I like the Jags to win and cover, obviously. Final game of the 1 p.m. slate, we got the Cowboys visiting the Panthers. This is another weird line, man. Another weird line here. Dallas 2-2-1 on the season. Carolina's 2-3. As I mentioned last week, Carolina goes down 17 points early to the Miami Dolphins. They're able to come back somehow and win that game. So maybe they picked up a little bit of momentum here. Why is Dallas only a 2.5-point favorite in this game? Dak's playing MVP football. He's playing the best football of all quarterbacks across the league. Why are they only 2.5 point favorites here? I'm gonna go with the Cowboys to win this game, but it is weird once again. I thought the line last week for the Cowboys was weird. They ended up, covering it by a landslide. This one is also weird. Dallas should win on the road if Dak is as good as everybody says that he is. Panthers got a little spice to them. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. I'll go with Dallas. I just think they're going to be able to score some points today against the Panthers, but we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a weird spot. 4 p.m. games. Breeze through these except for one. We got the Titans at the Raiders. These are 2 1-4 teams. Raiders are 3.5-point favorites. Cam Ward gets the big first win as a rookie last week. Geno has played horrible. Can the Titans keep this going? Like, can they pick up a second win, right, against another bad team? I'm going with the Raiders at home, but I mean, pick your poison in this one. I won't be paying attention to this game at all. The 49ers 4-1 visiting the 4-1 Tampa Bay Bucks. I said earlier this may be the game of the week for this slate. Between that and the Chiefs and Lions, I would say, but both of these teams very beat up. Brock Purdy's going to be out for this one. George Kittle not yet returned. Ricky Pearsall out as well this week. Mac Jones and Juwan Jennings should be in. Juwan Jennings specifically returning. I know Mac Jones is in, but Juwan Jennings should be returning today. And then Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, and Chris Godwin all out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Tampa Bay is a 3.5-point favorite at home. I've seen you guys in the comments. D-Rab, I know Terry is obviously a 49ers fan. I like the Bucks at home today. I like the Bucks at home. If this was in San Fran, I would give it a little bit. I would probably lean the other way a little bit more. But I like the Bucks at home today. They've just been finding ways to win. Baker Mayfield has been just so clutch down the stretch in close games of late. And I just like what the Bucks are doing. At home, I give them the advantage. I am going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ultimately. Last game of the 4 p.m. slate, we have the Cincinnati Bengals 2-3 visiting the Packers 2-1-1. Green Bay Packers 13.5-point favorites in this game. No duh. They're coming off the draw against Dallas. It feels like it's been forever ago, but these guys they need a win here. They need to dominate this Bengals team that is just going to throw Joe Flacco out there today and see what happens. 13.5 points is a lot. They need a showcase here, though. They need a bounce back. I'll go with the Packers to cover that spread. I'm not betting it by any means. I'll go with the Packers to cover nonetheless. Dominating fashion over the Bengals today. Sunday Night Football. I'm sorry, D-Rab. Am I tripping? Are they not at home today? Just want to double check on that. I don't want to give out incorrect information. Yeah, they are. They are at home. 2 scores and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it's a lot, but I just think the Packers need a dominating win. But maybe not. Maybe they just are what they are. Oh, you think I'm crazy for saying they win at home? I mean, we'll see. They lost to the Eagles at home, to your point. Ricky being out hurts. He stretches the field for us. Yeah, he's definitely been a clutch weapon for you guys. You guys need him, Kittle, all of those guys back, of course, but still in great shape nonetheless with all those injuries. Chiefs and Lions. This one's so interesting to me. The Kansas City Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites at home against the visiting 4-1 Detroit Lions. Chiefs coming off that tough loss to the Jags. My gut tells me Lions. My gut just says like the Chiefs can't score with the Lions. The Lions can put up 30 plus points. The Chiefs cannot. But it's the Chiefs. And the last time I said that was against Baltimore and they dropped 37 points and they won, right? Lamar Jackson gets injured in that game. It's a weird spot. It feels like a trap because the plus money for the Lions money line is just screaming at me just with the way they play. It's a prove it spot for them, but the Chiefs back against the wall at home. It's so hard. It's so hard to pick against the Chiefs in these spots, man. It really is, including NFL this year with HQ and many extra options. Just check it. Okay, I guess that's some promo there. Thanks for that. Secondary needs to step up. No doubt, Terry. Monday Night Football. Whoa, I didn't even get my pick for Chiefs. I'm trying to move quickly here as we approach one. I'm going with the Lions, but like I said, that feels like a trap. I don't know if I'm going to actually bet that. But I am going to go with the Lions over 25.5 points. I do expect them to score points. It's just, can the Chiefs turn it into a shootout? It'll be interesting. I don't see the Chiefs holding the Lions down, though. Monday Night Football, we got a doubleheader again. Buffalo at Atlanta, 4-1 Buffalo Bills, 2-2 Atlanta Falcons, 4.5-point favorites for Buffalo. It's an interesting spot. Buffalo on the road, obviously coming off the tough loss against the Patriots. You expect them to bounce back, but Atlanta can just be a very annoying team. I mean, they can run the football very well with Bijan Robinson back there and Algier. They got a nice little duo. Michael Penix can use his legs. You got Kyle Pitts and Drake London on the outside, weapons. They're an annoying team. Against that Buffalo defense, it is a little weird. I'll go with Buffalo on the road to bounce back just because they're coming off a loss that they just should not have lost against the Patriots. But it is a weird spot to give Atlanta a little bit of credit. And then the last game of the week, we got Chicago versus the Washington Commanders. So we got the Bears visiting the Commanders, 2-2 Bears, 3-2 Commanders. Commanders are 4.5-point favorites in this one. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams again, right? We remember how that one ended last year with the Hail Mary. Washington gets that huge momentum-building win in Chicago. A rematch. Let's see how this one plays out. But I just kind of like Chicago in this one. I couldn't tell you why. I did like what I saw from Jaden Daniels on the road against the LA Chargers. But I think Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, they got something to prove this year. And these guys being drafted in the same draft and Jaden Daniels winning Rookie of the Year over Caleb Williams, I think those are the types of things that linger. They create chips on your shoulder. And, I think Chicago will be playing with a little bit of an edge here. I like this for a prove-it spot for Chicago. I'll take the Bears in this one, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a prove-it spot for a reason. Best bets of the day, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going with the Jags. Darius says they were plus money. I did get them at minus 105 money line, but if you can get them at plus money, I do love them at home today. Travis Etienne, I got his touchdown at minus 120. I like him to score today. I like the Jags to take care of business today, as I mentioned so many times. Stephon Diggs, over 62.5 receiving yards at minus 114. I got it. Once again, want to see if Stephon Diggs can continue this play with Drake May. I did lay Drake May 2+ passing tutties at minus 124. I'm on the Drake May train. I will get right the fuck off of it if this does not play out the way I want it to today against the Saints. Tampa Bay Bucks over 24.5 points against the 49ers. I do think if the 49ers are going to win, they're going to have to score some points against the Bucks. Baker Mayfield, even without the weapons, has been able to get some points on the board each and every week. And then I went with the Detroit Lions points, as I mentioned earlier, over 25.5 at minus 112. I like the Lions to win. I do agree it's a potential trap game. I don't think the Chiefs defense is going to hold this offense down. I think the Lions are going to be able to move the ball and score some points tonight, even if they do end up losing this game in a close fashion. I'll go with the Lions over 26 points tonight. But that's going to be it for this episode of NFL Turf Talk. Week 6, we're already here, man. And we got some decent matchups to keep an eye on today. I'll have Red Zone on, so I'll be keeping eyes on across the board is what I'm trying to say there. But guys, tap in with us tomorrow on DSM Media, the Philadelphia YouTube channel. Faithful Fanatic, we'll be recapping the Eagles and Giants, whatever the hell happened there, getting you guys ready for the Vikings matchup, and taking a look at what's next for the Philadelphia Phillies, man. So tap in over there. We'll be back with NFL Week 6 recap Turf Talk on Thursday, our normal scheduled showtime. But until next time, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and peace. Enjoy the action. Thanks, everybody.